Yes, I am growing very strong. My muscles are getting bigger.
Well, going everybody on YouTube, and a special shout out to all my fellow Tenno. Today we'll be looking at Hildryn, or in my case, Hildryn Prime. During Koumei and the Five Fates, she got a little bit of quality of life and a little upgrade. So, in the form of an augment mod, and they also did a little bit of checks on her first ability and her fourth ability. Biggest caveats from that, or the biggest takeaways from that, is her first ability it does a little bit more now, and her fourth ability, she's able to also cast her other abilities as well as helmet abilities. So that's awesome. So now you could also cast Pillage in that. You could use your Balefires, and you could also use whatever subsume you want to use in this. Right? So here I am going over the abilities. First one, as you guys know, is essentially just some arm cannons you equipped. It's an exalted weapon. Second ability, we all know it, we all love it. Pillage, it's an armor strip. Here I got on Condemn from Harrow. This is my subsume slot, because I didn't really need Haven to that. This is more of a DPS solo build, but it does still work well in teams, because you still generate shields for your teammates. As you guys know, Age of Storm, this is where you assume like that attack helicopter vibe, that's what everyone's calling it. So here I am just demonstrating exactly how these builds work, or how these abilities work, I should say. So here's Balefire. Essentially, you fire this heavy projectile. It does a lot of damage, a lot of flat damage, and it also it has a very big AoE. Right? As you guys can see, I'm hitting pretty much like at least 15 of these guys, and there's 20 of them there. Right? As you guys can see, it barely ever crits, because it doesn't have the best crit chance, doesn't have the best status chance either. It's purely just flat damage, which it works. It works. And here I am casting Pillage, essentially to remove the armor. As you guys can see, it will take me more than one cast. We'll get to that when we're looking at the build. And essentially here I am just going ahead and dumping out a few shots so I can show you guys exactly how Condemn works when it comes on to regenerating my shields and generating over shields. So let me clear these guys out. Let's go ahead and get some more guys spawned in, so you guys could then see how the Age of Storm works. So go ahead and cast the fourth. Boom. Everyone's crowd controlled, everyone's CC'd, and as you guys can see, all these shields are being used up, and you see, as soon as I cast Condemn, they're all refilled, and I get over shields as well. Right? Because as I said, it's based on the amount of hits or amount of enemies you hit. And as you guys can see, these Balefires are doing absolute crazy damage. Oh, skip right here. Right? Cast the Condemn. Go ahead and fire off a few shots. And the best thing about this augment is that essentially you get an alt fire, which is somewhat similar to Jade, but very different. It's not the same at all. I don't know why people compare it. Essentially, you get the ability to use an alt fire, which just fires out 4 projectiles, doing a lot more damage, and having a bigger AoE, which is awesome, don't get me wrong. Also, whenever you come out of or you uncast Age of Storm, you do a little superhero pose, which now you're invincible while you're doing that, and you also do a little bit of splash damage, or AoE damage. Nothing really notable. So there it is. These are level 180 Steel Path Heavy Gunners, Corrupted Heavy Gunners. So it'll take care of them, right? And here is a few clips from a Steel Path survival mission. And to note, this build is, or this frame essentially is more suited for like open maps or open tile sets, because using her in confined spaces, it's not bad, but it's a little bit tedious because, hey, she's a Muslim mommy. She takes up a lot of screen. She takes up a lot of real estate, right? So that's one thing, and she's not the fastest. The speed that you see me moving at right now is assisted by the Kratos. I'm using the Kratos to essentially just I guess, a stat stick for movement speed. I don't know what you would call that. I guess you could say it's a utility weapon in this case. But yeah. So as you guys can see, I'm pretty much just clearing these enemies out. I'm not having issues when it comes on to maintaining the shields. Whenever my shields go down, or once I look up and I see them turn blue, I just automatically just cast either Pillage or Condemn. It really doesn't matter because one, casting Condemn regenerates your shields quicker and gives you the overshields, and Pillage essentially just armor strips and gives you back shields. However, due to your duration, it may take a little bit of time before you actually get those shields refunded to you. So what I typically do is essentially just cast Pillage and then cast Condemn directly into a group of enemies. So essentially what that does is I'm already regenerating my shields with Condemn, and whilst Pillage is out there stripping armor, by the time it gets back to me, if I need shields by then, I'll be sorted. And here I am showing you guys exactly how these work against the Acolyte. I haven't tested this against every Acolyte, tested a few, because this was just a 10-minute run. But I don't know if the Acolyte, I'm not sure what name is, the one that is able to turn off your abilities. I'm not sure if they actually able to turn off this ability. Also, I'm not sure if it's intended or if it's a bug, because I'm pretty sure this worked in the past. Apparently you can't armor strip an Acolyte using Pillage. I wasn't aware of that. I've tried multiple times even in this run and it just didn't work, so please keep that in mind. If you're facing an Acolyte and you're thinking about armor stripping them, if it's not a bug, you cannot armor strip them with Pillage. If it is a bug, I hope it gets fixed soon. If it's not a bug, can someone let me know in the comments if it's always been like this? Because my memory probably is just failing me at the moment. And as you guys can see, this is pretty much just bullying these enemies. Like, I'm not even worried when it comes on to my survivability. I have on Arcane Aegis to simply just keep my shields regenning. Also, so I have essentially 3 methods or 3 ways in this one build to regen shields. 1 being Pillage, 2 being Condemned, and 3 being Arcane Aegis. But we'll get to the build shortly. And moving into Acolyte number 2, essentially this, I'm pretty much just adding this for the fact that I'm showing you guys that I'm trying. This is when I was really trying my best to use Pillage to remove shields from this dude, and it was just not working. Rose armor was just not going. So I was there messing around, almost died, but you know, well, clutched it. I decided to use the Sicarus Prime, the Sicarus Incarnate, to essentially get the job done. However, it was still bugged at this time, so it was doing a little bit more damage than it should. So hence why I didn't really use it further on. But yeah, this was the only time in this entire mission that I even felt, you know, the need to actually lean a little bit forward.
all share in this bounty. Hold out as long as you can.
So here we are at the end of the 10-minute survival, and as you guys can see, it's pretty much only like 611 kills. However, that's nothing to scoff at, especially seeing that it's now Hildryn just pretty much just using her abilities. And as I said, it's more akin to an open tile set, so it'll work a lot better for you guys there. So taking a look at the entire loadout, I would put more of these shield capacity shards. I just don't have enough. Or I don't have enough Stella. So I don't have enough Stella to actually go ahead and, you know, fuse a bunch of them. So looking at the build for Hildryn herself, currently got corrosive projection, primary direction, overextended, auger reach, and stretch for that maximum range. We have blind rage for strength, as well as umbrella intensify, and we have Boreal's hatred for the extra shield capacity, as well as a little bit of efficiency to not really counteract blind rage, but to make it less stressful. You could always run an auger cord there or anything else, and as I said, we have arcane aegis and mold augmented here. Mold augmented for that extra strength, and aegis is there to regen shields. So whenever these shields take damage, they'll automatically just start regenning. It works great. I'm not sure if it's supposed to work, but it works great. And this right here is the Aegis scale. That's the augment mod, which is allowing us to do all this boatload of damage. And here I am showing you guys that yes, you could also swap Boreal's hatred out for auger cord, because it does give you more shield capacity at 70% instead of 50. And you could always use fast deflection to speed up the regen of the shields as well. And now taking a look at everything else when it comes on to when it comes on to both the fashion. Let me know if the fashion or if the drip's tough. You know, I tried my best. Here's the Tenon Galaxion build. It's a simple corrosive blast build. We have the Sicarus Prime, which I said at the time was still bugged. This was pre-patch or pre-hotfix. So it's a deadhead build. And as I said, we have the Praetos just for the movement speed, even though the build on it is very sufficient and is able to clean up Steel Path as well. It's just there for movement at this point when it comes on to her. When it comes on to the Focus School, you can put whatever you want. And here's the build for the Balefires himself. It's also corrosive and also has Prime Fulmination for the extra blast radius. Trust me, it's awesome. So yeah, so test it out. Let me know in the comments if you guys have any other builds. Be free to share. I'm all ears and all that stuff. You know, we got Barrel Diffusion, Lethal Torrent for the multi-shot. But when it comes on to Magnum Force right here, I just didn't have enough endo to go ahead and max it out. Well, not necessarily enough endo, I just didn't have any more forma, if I'm being honest. I didn't have enough forma at the time, so I didn't go ahead and put more onto it, which I will do in the future. I will be putting another forma in this just to make sure everything's more streamlined. And to go ahead and take a look at the companion, we got the Worm Prime with the Verglass. The Verglass is there for damage, Worm Prime is there for both the fire rate as well as negate. You could always swap this out for anything, realistically. You could switch it out for a Panzer to get more priming. You could go ahead and swap it out for anything that you'd like, right? But I just prefer to use the Worm Prime to ensure that I have reinforced bond as well as negate, because it works out really great for me. And I've been loving the Praeto, but the Praetos. I've been loving the Verglass. But one thing what I would say to run a companion is to have Guardian and Shield Charger. Shield Charger gives you overshields, and Guardian essentially, once your shields break, your Sentinel will just go ahead and refresh your shields right back to 100% immediately. So once your shields get to 0, they'll be refreshed immediately. So that's why I would recommend using a Sentinel. And that right there is the build and the video. I hope you guys test out the new and improved Hildryn. She's something special now. She's actually fun to play. And yeah, thank you guys so much for stopping by at Nimbus Gaming. Hope you guys have a wonderful day. Peace.